So, thank you guys so much for coming. I cannot express how much I appreciate all of you and all of you taking time out of your day today to be here with us and to participate in this project that we're working on. This is the very first of a 4-part series that we like to refer to as the Truth-Telling series. We have different activities once a month throughout the winter. And so we look forward to participating in all of those other ones with you as well. So what we're going to do here today, and I don't know that I necessarily need to explain it because it looks like everybody's already kind of figured this out, which is awesome. We have a few stations set up, and the stations have maps that we have downloaded and then printed. We've printed them here in-house of different neighborhoods. The older map is from 1911, I believe, and then the newer one is the 1931 engineering map of the city of New Bedford. And if you wouldn't mind browsing around and looking through and trying to see things that you remember from before 1965, while these maps and while the city of New Bedford was laid out the way that they're represented on these maps. What we're going to do with this? Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to display them. We're going to use this information to move forward in the programming and the stories that we tell here at New Bedford. We're going to do this again, I hope, and hopefully we're going to be able to do it better and better. So each time we offer programs like this and we invite people to come in to learn from all of you, that we learn from you more and better every time. And we're going to record these for our records so future generations of Rangers and future generations of New Bedforders can remember. And the most important thing that we can do here is provide an opportunity for others to remember and to know. These maps will become a testament to a very specific time in New Bedford's history, and we're so happy to be a part of that experience. So we have a few activities that you can engage in. Now, of course, there's the maps, and on this table back here in this corner, there are markers and sticky notes. There are even some point-and-shoot cameras if you'd like to take pictures and record some of the things that are happening. I encourage you to write directly onto these maps. We have sticky notes, and you can write onto the sticky notes as well. And if you end up having more information than we can fit on a map, we have notebooks. And so there's notebooks at every table. Please record anything that you would like onto those maps and into those notebooks. We have our smartboard right here, which is connected to the internet, and we found some resources. It is just amazing how much of this information is also online. And so if we want to do some research and explore, we have opportunities to look up things while we're trying to piece together some of these memories. And I've set up some Post-it notes on easels with some prompts. And I would like you guys to participate, if you're interested, on those prompts. And a couple of them in particular. What should we talk about next? Right? Because we want to do this again. So what else should we be talking about? And then who is not in the room? Who should be here? Who are we missing right now? And how can we reach them and invite them the next time we do this? So with that, I encourage all of you to continue to explore and ask any questions and let us know if you need anything. And thank you again so very much.
So I just had us come up so you would know at each table, one of the staff from the park is going to be here. Jen Smith is going to be doing the South End because she did a master's thesis on the South End Terminal. Lucy Bly is our resident North End.
North End kid.
North End expert. Grew up in the North End, lived there, still lives there. And I'm Jan De Silva, and I live in the West End, and so I'll be at the West End table. So if you have any questions or you need any help, we're going to be at the tables to help facilitate the discussion.
Excellent.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
I think the park is looking to start a discussion about historical ways in which the city has changed with people who still have the living memory of the change. My specific role here today is to capture photos of people looking at maps, having good conversation.
So we're here at the West End table. People have been coming up talking about what they remember, what they saw, where people were moved, because it was probably about a 12 or 13 square block area where people were displaced in the 1970s and people were moved out of the neighborhood. They never moved back to the neighborhood, and it's the location where Temple Landing is, all the way down to County Street. Churches were displaced, schools were displaced. It's the site where the William H. Carney Memorial Academy is located, so that's the area we're talking about right now.
Well, first of all, my name's John Bullard, and I love maps. I worked in the city planning department for a while. I was mayor a long time ago, and I worked in the Waterfront Historic District, which at one point was supposed to be an urban renewal area. So I spent a lot of time looking at historical maps of the city, urban renewal maps of the city. And I think what's going on in this room is so exciting because not only is it really interesting to look at maps of the city of New Bedford and learn what they tell us, it's also fascinating to see all the people here tell the stories around the neighborhoods depicted that aren't here anymore. South Terminal is now an economic engine for the city, but it used to have houses there, and there are people here going through the books that used to live in those houses. The West End of New Bedford was the third urban renewal area, and it was essentially bulldozed so it could be saved. And there are people here who lived in that neighborhood who are looking at the maps, remembering where they bought fried chicken, remembering where they went to school, remembering where they lived by looking at the maps.
New Bedford is an unending supply of stories and discoveries that make you really appreciate the fact that it was a great city and still is a great city. So thank you.
Okay, so my name is Jeanne Kosta, and I grew up in the south end of New Bedford, which at some point they referred to as South Central. And my family, a lot of my friends who were displaced with the Urban Renewal Project, and that tore our community apart. It was basically a Cape Verdean community in the area between South Front Street all the way up to you can say up to County Street, but basically there were, and even up to, you want to say Griffin or Walnut Street, I should say. So there was a big section, and once they came in and just really dissipated that area, the Cape Verdean, we were just really, I want to say, like I said, displaced and moved all over New Bedford. So it was disheartening just to bring this highway here for the fishing industry, and now they've already changed it after all these years. It's been changed again. So I know that most of my family and friends just thought that they did us a disservice. As we go through these files, people should look through these files, because a lot of, when you look at some of the documentation, you can see that the resistance that was there as far as the families, they did not want to sell their house for these pennies. I mean, again, they disrupted our community, and it was a blended community because there were Hispanics that were moving in, there were Portuguese, French that moved in, Jewish, exactly. But we just think they did a disservice to our culture.
Hi, my name is Carlene Cardwell. I'm a New Bedford resident, and I walked from Roosevelt Junior High School up Water Street for years, and my family and friends lived in that neighborhood, which was taken a different form of gentrification and eminent domain, and It was mostly majority people of color, Cape Verdean immigrants and their first generation children and families. And this was happening all over America, these urban renewal projects.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Candida Rose Baptista. Some folks know me as Candida Rose musically, but here I would hope that people just know me as Candy because I grew up. I'm here because I grew up on 501. I don't know if you can see that. 501 Acushnet Avenue. I spent a lot of my years right there. I don't know if you can see that. And back then, most folks knew me as Candy Baptista, little Candy with long braids. And I'm here today because I had been talking to Andrew about this project. He was telling me what was going on, what they're trying to do, and pre-urban renewal. And my family was affected by urban renewal because we were displaced. I'm just going to say it. We were displaced, and the whole neighborhood would just kind of got scattered after that. But we had such a wonderful community, and I guess being here today is just kind of bringing me back to that and reminding me of some of the wonderful times that I had down there as a little girl, remembering downtown and hanging out downtown with some of my friends and just running up the streets, and my father whistling for us if we were down the street a block or so. I don't know, just all of those memories are just kind of just coming to me. Just being able to even find, I was trying to see if I could find my old house, and I actually lived kind of between two places within all of this. I also lived as a little girl at 144 Acushnet Avenue, which is in the Bay Village. Down South End, and then kind of went back and forth for a little while between 144 Acushnet Avenue and 501 Acushnet Avenue. And unfortunately, again, 501 Acushnet Avenue is not there anymore. That whole area, just north of where we are right now, is pretty much all gone. So to be able to come here and see it again, just kind of see it, even if it's in a little map, just brings back really wonderful, wonderful memories. Thank you.
We're a pretty special place.
Damn right.
And we need to celebrate that. And you celebrate it not just by the buildings and the streets, but the living history that exists here, the people who are still here, who can share their stories.